Hi, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I have this new book with me. This is The Possessed or The Devil. It's by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It is one of the best novels of Dostoevsky, and after Brothers Karamazov I wanted to read this. I got this book before Brothers Karamazov, but still I decided to read that one. But now as I have started this, as you can see the tabs as well, and this book so far I have read almost 40 to 50 pages, and it has more than 700 pages. This book is based on mostly on politics and the current idea that is not acceptable to authority. Like in the social system, people want to bring certain change related to socialism, you can say that, but that is only an idea in the social circle or in the private discussion, and this idea hasn't been spoken openly in any platform because authorities are very strict in this regard. This is the basic story about this novel. Like the socialism tinge will be there in this novel, and there are plenty of characters, and as I have listened to this book 2 to 3 times, maybe more, on Audible, still I find it difficult to find a hero in this novel. Like there are some central characters, but I would say that they are the heroes of this novel. Still, like a very learned character that is in the beginning of this novel is Stefan Trofimovich. He is a learned person, he is an intellectual. Earlier he was a lecturer, but now he doesn't do anything. He has done his share of work in his life, but he once upon a time he was very famous for a short period only. So, and there are many other characters of this novel, and one of the most prominent characters is Nikolai. Nikolai is the son of Varvara. Varvara is a landowner, and she is the friend of Stefan Trofimovich. So this novel is a giant, and there are different stories going on in this novel as per my understanding through Audible. But as I have decided that I will talk about this book through chapters, like a chapter at a time, and that will be more practical and understandable in my opinion. And there are almost, as like, I want to show you the book. First of all, it is by S&B Publishers. I tell you the name of this book. This is Simon and Brown Publications. So this hardcover is very solid. Like if you get this, you don't need to trouble about or worry about whether it gets damaged. So it has almost, in the table of contents, it has 3 parts and total of 5 chapters in part 1 and 10 chapters in part 2 and 8 chapters in part 3, and you can count that all. And in the first chapter, as Dostoevsky has tried to build the plot, he has introduced different of characters in chapter 1 and 2. Like he has introduced almost all of the characters of the novel, and there are so many different characters, and each character, when you read this book, you will find that they all have very unique, peculiar personality traits that you will fall in love with them. Not exactly, but in terms of the description that the author has provided, because that is the point, I would say. The description, the way that Dostoevsky has narrated, has infused the energy and the values in those characters. That's the point of the matter, in my opinion. That is very interesting, and that makes the whole novel very interesting, because in the first and second chapter, when you read it, you will understand the background story of the novel, and that will help you to understand the story in a better way. Like, I would suggest you, especially first and second chapter, you need to read it very carefully, because you will understand that it has strong connection with the other events throughout the novel. So that will help you a lot. And there are so many characters. Like, I can talk about these characters one by one, if you allow me. Like, first character is Stefan Trofimovich. He is an elderly person. He is a learned or intellectual person. He was a university professor for a short period of time, but due to his radical point of views, or his opinion, or his thoughts, he was suspended, or he resigned, I'm not sure, but he left the university, or he left the lecturer post. And he has traveled a lot. He had 2 wives. Both wives were dead, so now he is a widower, and he lives with Varvara Stavrogin. And Varvara is a general's wife, and her husband is dead now. She has a child. His name is Stavrogin, and Stavrogin is a central figure of this novel, and he has a very unique personality, and he is, like, I would say, the darling of this novel. About Stavrogin, Nikolai Stavrogin, initially he was educated by Stefan Trofimovich. He was his tutor, and that was the reason, or that was the basic foundation of his Stefan's introduction into Varvara's family. Later on, Stavrogin went to Lyceum. Lyceum is I'm sorry, I am not sure whether I am pronouncing it right, but Lyceum is kind of a school. From there on, he went to army, and he got the position in horse guards. He gets a commission, like it's a very reputable one, and there he gets introduced into a very high circle, and he manages to enter into some higher circles or higher connections of the society. Then, because of his absurd personality, or his trait, or his unique energy, he insults women during 2 or 3 occasions. Then he somehow lands into duels. He enters into 2 duels. In one, he kills a person. In second, he like injures the other person. Because of that, he gets a demotion, and his rank is reduced as well. Then he is transferred to infantry line regiment. That's as a punishment, because he has higher connections. That's why he is still in the infantry. So this is all in the background story, and the background story is very vivid. It is full of details that when you read it, you will understand that there are so many details. And Dostoevsky, oh my god, he has like inserted such a huge strength into the background introduction story that it becomes so easy to predict certain events, and whatever Dostoevsky describes later on in the novel, it all makes sense because of the background or the introductory part. So this is the story of Stavrogin, and there are other characters like Lebyadkin. He's a captain, but in reality he's not a captain. He is a very infamous character. Then there is Shatov. I find Shatov's character very interesting. He's like, you know, a very respectable person. How? I would tell you, like, I would like to explain. Shatov is not very rich, okay, and he hasn't had any good work. he hasn't been into like service. He is a student or a former student. Because of his poverty or his destitute circumstances, he's not going to university anymore. He is like related to Varvara. Varvara is landlord, very rich, okay? And Shatov's sister Dasha, she works in Varvara's house, and Dasha is on very good terms with Varvara. But Shatov, because of his self-respect or his personality or his beliefs and value system, even though he is hungry, he is starving, he doesn't have a single penny, still he doesn't go to Varvara. He falls sick, he survives barely, but still he doesn't ask for help. This is his personality. He has a very strong character. His mental capacity is like immense, I would say. So this is just in the beginning of this novel, and there are thousands of things that I want to talk about, but that will be too much for my video to handle and for you to like absorb in just one video. And for you, like in short or in just few words, I would say that this is a very interesting and highly recommended novel. If you pick this up, then I'm sure that you will enjoy it, and again you will thank me for this novel. This is one of the masterpiece novels of Fyodor Dostoevsky, like The Idiot, Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment, and The Devils. So I think if you are reading anything else, then it's, you know, very good. But if you want to add something in your TBR, then I would highly recommend you to add this book and read it very slowly, because it's a classic, and classic novels are meant to be read slowly at a slower pace so that it makes sense to understand them. And with that, give me your permission and I will be back with more details about next chapters. And I would like to talk about Stavrogin in more detail. And one more interesting thing is that, just one second, I'm sorry, like this is a novel, a complete novel, but still this book misses a chapter. A chapter is missing there. Initially that chapter was very offensive, and censor board didn't allow Dostoevsky to publish that chapter in the book, but later on that chapter was published. In some books you will like, if you buy this book, then maybe chances are that that chapter is there, but I have seen that that chapter is missing, and that is the Stavrogin's confession. This is very like interesting and at the same time revolting chapter. It's a confession, but it's very painful, or it has details that can upset a normal or ordinary human being. So this I got this separately. I paid some money for this separately because I wanted to have the complete book, and I wanted to read this chapter particularly separately, but like I will read it after the book because this chapter is the last chapter, so it makes sense naturally. So with that, give me your permission, so that it's quite late, almost midnight, and I need to sleep. And these are the two books from the same book. So if you are a fan of Dostoevsky, or if you want to read Russian literature, this is a good recommendation, and I will give it like the highest rating. If it in terms of Goodreads, I will give it 5 stars as per my understanding through Audible, but I am reading it slowly this time, like underlining. I like, as you can see, I hope you can see, I like, you know, playing with my book, making it dirty, messier, and I find it cool that way. Okay, give me your permission. I will see you soon. Have a nice time. Take care. Be safe. Okay, it's a message, and I'm careful for you. I'm concerned for you, and take care. Bye bye.